welcome to the Business Standard Morning Show. I'm Veenu Sandhu. Let's take a look at the stories for the day.
This is GE Vernova, helping generate and move the energy that will change the world. Welcome to a new era of energy.
With the pandemic receding into the background, people's travel plans have taken the front seat. The number of people opting for air travel recently surpassed the pre-pandemic level. And the queues outside terminals and at check-in counters have become really long. This has led to a subpar travel experience for flyers. Now, do we have a long-term solution to ensure that airports don't get chaotic? Bhaswar Kumar's report has the answer.
If you recently caught a flight from the Delhi, Mumbai, or Bengaluru airports, you may have witnessed long queues. First, to get into the terminal, then at the check-in counters, followed by serpentine queues at the security or immigration counters. With this being the peak travel season, Union Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia met the operators of major airports and other stakeholders on Wednesday to find a solution. After the meeting, Scindia told Business Standard that before the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, the highest domestic passenger numbers were about 407,000 a day, but that figure was surpassed on 5th of December at 413,000. More people flying has led to congestion at major airports. This is in line with the recent trend seen in India's air passenger traffic, which rose about 10% sequentially and almost 30% year-on-year to over 11 million air passengers in October. According to the minister, an analysis of the bottlenecks was done in the meeting. This started from the point a passenger arrived at the airport to when she boarded the flight, and solutions were identified. He said that a lot of the congestion was taking place in Delhi and to a certain degree in Mumbai, while other airports were not affected to the same extent. So what are these solutions? As the first step, Scindia instructed the airports to plan the arrivals and departures of aircraft, especially during peak hours, based on their capacity to handle passengers from the point of their arrival to boarding the plane. This could mean rearranging flights during peak hours based on the airport's capacity. He said that the process has started and gave the example of the Delhi airport, which has already rearranged its peak hour landings and takeoffs. He added that several flights were being shifted from Delhi's T3 to the T1 terminal.
The airports which we are talking about, Delhi and Bombay, are already capacity constrained. When we rearrange the arrival and departure passengers or flights, we are bound to see some changes in the flight schedules, and that would possibly lead to a certain time shift across the passenger through a travel time. But largely speaking, it is primarily around the short-term immediate solution of these congestions at the airports, which would lead to short-term gains and easing of congestion on the immediate horizon.
Second, officials dealing with customs and immigration, along with the Central Industrial Security Force and airport operators, have been told to ensure that all the landing cards are distributed inside the flights to avoid long queues. Landing cards are a must for international passengers arriving in India. Third, the number of lanes for security checks, hand baggage clearance, and frisking will be increased. At select major airports, capacity may be augmented with regard to the immigration desks and security personnel. Most domestic airlines plan to operate fewer flights during the festival period leading up to Christmas and New Year. This is because over 75 planes of major carriers have been grounded since November due to engine supply or maintenance issues. Thus, airlines have scheduled fewer flights on the busy Delhi-Mumbai, Delhi-Goa, Delhi-Srinagar, Hyderabad-Bengaluru, and Delhi-Patna routes in December. Against this backdrop, Will the congestion at major airports end anytime soon? And what challenges may have to be overcome along the way?
The Indian carriers are primarily augmenting the capacity by various other tools like wet leases, like the aircraft utilization, increasing the aircraft utilization, usage of A321 neos, which have a higher capacity. So, in a larger sense, they are offsetting the capacity deployment. Traditionally, quarter three or the period from October to December of every year is high travel period because of the festive season. So, in the short term, we still see this robust growth to actually lead to these congestion patterns, and we see a continuing trend in the congestion patterns as of now.
Vinamra Longani, an aviation expert from Sareen and Company, a law firm specializing in aircraft leasing and finance, is optimistic about the plan's chances. In particular, he feels that focusing on all the points of contact passengers must go through is the right step.
The critical choke points at any airport, are our security, our immigration in case of international travel, and sometimes even customs, for arriving passengers. Now, security, to enter the airport is provided by a government entity. It is the CISF that does it. Similarly, immigration and customs staff are also on are on government payroll. So while the airport operators do get blamed for poor service to customers, but it's largely because of services that are provided by government entities. And this is where I would like to compliment the Minister of Civil Aviation for stepping in immediately, for having a meeting with the respective stakeholders.
Also, what about long-term solutions? For example, a report by aviation analytics firms OAG said that the Indira Gandhi International Airport became the world's 10th busiest in October, improving its position from 14th place in October 2019. And it won't be any surprise if it, along with the Mumbai and Bengaluru airports, becomes busier in the coming years. According to an assessment by the Airports Authority of India, the country's total air passenger traffic is expected to increase from around 340 million during FY20 to around 830 million by FY33.
So, in terms of long-term solutions, primarily capacity augmentation for Delhi, as we already know, phase 3A is already going on. And then in Mumbai, the Navi Mumbai airport will add the capacity. But in a larger sense, we are seeing a drive towards privatization of airports, which has already shown a trend of improving operational efficiencies, which in large sense means that the traffic throughput throughout the airport can improve. This is the capex also, which is done. So it will be a combination of multiple factors like the augmentation of capacity by the already existing airports when they shift to privatization and by AI in turn, and the greenfield airports, primarily the Navi Mumbai and Zurich.
The Indian aviation sector is in the middle of a demand boom, but the experience of flying has suffered. Solutions like rearranging flight schedules at major airports may help ease the pain of air travel in the short term, but don't hold the long-term promise of smooth and convenient air travel. India needs to plan for a much bigger civil aviation infrastructure that makes flying cheerful for both flyers and airlines.
But there is also a positive side to this rush at airports. It is an indication that our economy is fast recovering from the pandemic woes. India's pharma sector too is playing its part in this recovery. The sector is expected to become a $130 billion industry by 2030. And one of the leading pharma firms, Biocon, is busy these days smoothing the last rough edges of its deal with Viatris. Business Standard's Shohini Das caught up with Shrihas Tambe, the new CEO of Biocon Biologics, to know more about the deal and the company's future plans.
So you've been with Biocon for almost 3 decades and you've seen the growth. So now being at the helm, what is your vision for the next 2 decades, let's say?
I joined Biocon in 1997, so it's been 25 years since I joined Biocon as a management trainee. So I started out in research and development back then, and I played a variety of roles across several functions before I got in here. I do have some more time left. I don't know if it's 2 decades or thereabouts, but yes, a significant amount of time left and so much more to do. What we've done over the last 4 decades in Biocon's existence since Kiran founded it is that we've had several growth drivers, almost one every decade, if you were to do a rough math. And there's been an inflection point, one every 10 years roughly, and each one of them have catapulted us into another orbit. Just to name a few, we were an enzymes company when I joined. We moved from there into small molecules. We moved from there into insulins. From insulins, we leveraged all of the capabilities into monoclonal biosimilars. And then we've got novel molecules. So if you really look at it, each of these inflection points got us into the next orbit. But what didn't change in all of this is the entrepreneurial spirit. The approach towards wanting to bring make a meaningful difference and bring affordable access to address what people have now clearly seen as the inequity in access and inequity in their ability to get products that should be a right to people. So I think that hasn't changed. The ethos of the company has not changed. And I think in the next decades or whatever that I'm here, I think I would want to make sure that we preserve those values and build upon that so that we can make a meaningful difference on the vision that Kiran has set for the company.
So do you think the next inflection point is the Viatris acquisition and how that augurs for Biocon's global plans? How do you look at the deal now that it's closed? What is the medium-term impact of the deal? What can we see?
Yeah. So this is clearly a pivotal moment if you really look at it. We've been partners with Viatris for over a decade. And the intent was that we had complementary capabilities. Biocon was known for its science and its manufacturing quality systems. And Viatris was known for its capabilities in regulatory sciences in the advanced markets and its commercial capability. Now, with this acquisition, what happens is we get all of those capabilities to us immediately. So two things, actually. One is the moment we closed this deal, which we did on the 29th, which was Biocon's Founders Day, incidentally. So what a better day to have found to do the closure of that acquisition. So having done that, from that day onwards, Biocon Biologics now books the full revenues and profits from the biologics business that Viatris was booking at that point in time. So we were roughly taking about 35 to 40% roughly in that range of the top line. We now book 100% of the top line. And we were taking 28% of the profits. Now we take a full 100% of the profits. So clearly a much more stronger P&L overall. So that's something that's set to change immediately. But more importantly, it brings us capability to now be a much more integrated company, a fully integrated company, which can bring the portfolio of products that we've not partnered so far with anybody to the market globally. Because now we have the commercial presence in over 100 countries because of this acquisition. And that allows us to be closer to patients than ever before.
As you mentioned, serum, so I was going to ask you, I think the third quarter is when I think the benefits from that deal also start to trickle in. So if you could give us some highlight points on how Biocon Biologics now stands to benefit from seven.
So Biocon Biologics, we did a transaction with Serum Institute Life Sciences, SILS, where we are entitled, and that takes effect from 1st October of this year. The thing is that we have an assured top line and an assured, I would say, a commensurate bottom line, which is in your mid-30s from an EBITDA perspective, that would accrue to Biocon Biologics on an annualized basis. So that is something that will take effect in this financial year for the second half of this year. So we have access to 100 million doses. And even if you take it at a floor price of $3 a year at a $300 million assured top line, and at a mid-30s EBITDA, you're looking at somewhere in that 100, 110, 120 kind of EBITDA number, which is on a pro rata basis, if you would take it on an annualized second half, is what will accrue to us in FY23.
And anything specific for the Asian or Indian market in particular that you would be looking at from Biocon Biologics? Because insulin is one area where you're getting serious in India as well. So if there's anything to discuss there.
Yeah, no, India is our home country. I mean, we've always looked to bring products to India. If you look at it, our first biologic launch, if you would look at it, was human insulin in 2004, followed by Basalog, which was our next generation analog, which was in 2009, and those were targeted at patients in India to alleviate that. And when we brought in trastuzumab, that was also the first of its kind, which changed the landscape of what we see in treatment of HER2 positive breast cancer patients. So clearly, it has been a very, very important market for us. We, of course, look to be a little more successful than we've been in some of these therapy areas than we've been globally. Clearly, there's room for improvement there. But we remain very focused and very, optimistic about the Indian market. We made new investments. We've got new leadership team there, and we are seeing, I would say, green shoots in terms of the responses we've received in our metabolic space, and we continue to hold market share in oncology. So I would think that we continue to want to bring our global portfolio to patients in India, which is our home country.
Thank you. Thanks, Shreyas. Thanks for connecting, and hope to staying in touch with you in future. Look forward to more.
Likewise, brilliant. Appreciate the time.
From the world of pharma, let us now shift our attention to stock markets. Investors have latched onto rail-related stocks over the past few months amid attractive valuations and high dividend payouts. As we approach the union budget for 2023-24, will these stocks be able to hold on to the gains? Here's a report by Harshita Singh.
Rail-related stocks have been on a bull run in recent months, with companies such as Rail Vikas Nigam, Texmaco Rail, RITES, Indian Railway Finance Corporation, Titagarh Wagons, Ircon International, and Railtel Corporation rallying as much as 123% over the last year. The sharp rise has come in the wake of attractive valuations, higher dividend payouts, and government policy support to the Indian Railways, say analysts.
Now, the main reasons behind rally in railway stocks are government push on capex. So government is focusing a lot on modernizing railway stations and launching new trains, etc. So all this is leading to sales and higher profitability for the railway stocks. Apart from this, the second reason is the low valuations and high dividend yields. So most of the railway stocks were trading at below 10 PE levels, and even their dividend yields were strong enough, like from 3 to 4%. So with rising interest rates, stocks with higher dividend yields became attractive. Apart from this, the third reason is sector rotation from defense. So we had initially seen a strong rally in defense stocks, and once the investors moved out of defense, and now they are getting into railway stocks.
According to analysts at Nirmal Bang, the government's overall capex announcements for April to November are 71% below pre-pandemic levels, but almost at par for the railway sector. In a note, they said central government capex announcements in FY23 are being led by the railways, with 38% of total projects in value terms, similar to FY20, when the transporter had accounted for 43% of the government's capex pipeline. Besides, in the upcoming budget, the railways will reportedly see gross budgetary support of 1.5 to 1.8 trillion rupees against the 1.37 trillion rupees earmarked for the current fiscal year. The allocation for the budget 2023-24 could reportedly be the highest ever, with a likely announcement of around 300 to 400 new Vande Bharat trains. These plans will generate significant orders for suppliers and engineering, procurement and construction players. Still, analysts said the sector's market gains will likely consolidate after the budget in the absence of significant institutional investor holding.
Typically, there will be a pre-budget build-up. So whether some expectation build-up will happen as to what will the budget bring for railways, or what kind of expenditure will be provided for in the budget. The budget is about 2 odd months away, and so we don't see a very big sharp correction in these stocks from now. If at all, there will be buying on the correction ahead of the budget, and post-budget we may see a slightly longer correction in terms of time, because then there may not be much to look forward to once the announcement is out of the way and it is properly discounted in terms of the stock prices. Net, I think the upmove in the stocks with some intermediate correction can continue till about budget, just before budget, and then that may be a good time to take profits from the investment if you have not already taken some profits out.
Jasani's stock picks include Rail Vikas Nigam and Ircon International. While Apurva Sheth of Samco Securities suggests investors stay selective, he expects private sector players such as Titagarh Wagons and Texmaco Rail to continue to do well. That said, equity markets will seek direction from global peers today. Foreign flow trends and price of crude oil will also sway investor mood.
Ever since Elon Musk took over Twitter, he has been in the news for the wrong reasons. His management calls at Twitter have shocked employees and market watchers alike. But far away from his Twitter antics, a technology invention from a research firm he founded is making quite a wave. ChatGPT, a dialogue-based AI chatbot, which not only answers your questions but strikes up a conversation too, has got over 1 million subscribers in just a week of its launch. Tushar Verma has more on this invention in the following report.
Most of us have interacted with virtual assistants like Siri, Alexa, Bixby, or the Google Assistant. But we often get to hear a complaint about them, that they lack the human touch and talk like machines. Well, a new chatbot promises to address this issue, and it has more to it. ChatGPT can also write college essays and even do coding like writing software codes in Python and C++. Within a week after its launch, more than 1 million users have signed up to experience it. So what is so great that it garnered a user base at an exponential rate? The answer is human touch. Unlike other virtual assistants like Siri and Alexa, Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer, or ChatGPT in short, remembers the previous conversations and uses it to answer your queries or interact with you. It is not simply limited to making a reservation or booking a ticket. It can produce long essays on a topic, write a poem, explain complex things like quantum physics in simple language, and even produce software codes. ChatGPT is developed as an artificial intelligence program and was trained using machine learning. Machine learning essentially means exposing a program, in this case ChatGPT, to a wide range of information and using statistical models and analytical algorithms to identify patterns and draw inferences. ChatGPT has a vast database of information in form of text, images and coded software programs, which it uses to respond in a human-like manner. In fact, it can be used for digital marketing, content creation, answering customer service queries, and many other things. Elon Musk says that ChatGPT is scary good. Another Twitter user described it as the new Google. It was developed in the labs of OpenAI. It is a research and development not-for-profit firm founded in 2015 by Elon Musk and Silicon Valley investor Sam Altman. Since its inception, the firm has received investments from Microsoft, Infosys, and a few other entities. In his tweet, Musk claimed that dangerously strong AI or artificial intelligence is not far. While the uses and depth of AI systems in human society will continue to be a matter of debate, ChatGPT might go towards monetization. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman said the research costs are eye-watering and that at some point, ChatGPT will be monetized. Currently, the feature is available for free to all the users across the world for a limited period of time.
I'm backed by the nation's trusted bank, SBI, the banker to every Indian.
Famous science fiction writer Arthur Clarke wrote that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. The way ChatGPT responds to people's queries is nothing short of magic either. That's all for today. For more news and analysis, please log into our website www.business-standard.com. And we'll see you on Monday morning. Stay tuned and thank you for watching.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.